Hi, Read 290. This is Dr. Keisler. I just have a few slides here to finish up our discussion of fallacies that we started last week. Couldn't quite remember where we left off, so I started here. Arguing against the man or ad hominem. So, this is when the author criticizes the aspects of a person that have nothing to do with the claim being made in an effort to distract the reader from the issue at hand. So, this type of fallacy is like we saw this in the film that we watched, Love is a Fallacy. And so another example of this might be, let's say, an argument about the competence of a professional computer analyst to do his job on the basis of his appearance, right? So one has nothing to do with the other. It's just an attempt to distract you from the actual argument. Okay, another common fallacy is poisoning the well or appeals to emotions. So let's say labeling all pro-choice proponents as murderers would be an example of poisoning the well or the appeals to emotions fallacy. So this is when the author puts a negative label on all who hold a certain position in order to discredit the position itself. So in contrast to the poisoning the well fallacy, we have the glittering generalizations fallacy. So in this case, positive, emotionally appealing terms are used to persuade us to agree with the author's point of view without thoroughly examining the reasons. So, for example, consider this political endorsement. A vote for Goodhart is a vote for truth, vision, and common sense. Although this may sound like the kind of candidate you would like to elect, no specific evidence is really given to explain the candidate's past performance or present stand on any of the issues. A red herring. So a red herring fallacy is when the author or the person giving the argument introduces a new topic to distract from the issue currently under discussion. So, for example, an author who is against the passage of the Equal Rights Amendment might want to bring up statistics that show that many women are turning down jobs in universities. Although this might be true, it's not really relevant to the argument. So if the discussion now turns to the reason for this phenomenon, the author or the person in control of the argument has successfully diverted your attention away from that original issue. And now back to begging the question, right, which we started with in the beginning. So begging the question is also known as that circular reasoning. And so this is when the author uses the conclusion as proof for itself, right? So in this type of argument, no real reasons are provided. So for example, if such actions were not illegal, then they would not be prohibited by the law, right? So that's when in the conversation you kind of turn to that. Well, this begs the question that if the first part is true, what does it have to do with the second part? There's really no reason. So it's just this kind of circular logic. So that was just a few of the ones that we didn't get to go over. We've discussed a lot of the common fallacies found in arguments and found in persuasive writings. And so there are many more that you can obviously find online or in any of the literature on logic if you've taken a class on logic. But as always, as you increase your ability to locate fallacies in your academic reading and in your personal reading, you're going to be better equipped to evaluate the worth and the credibility of the author's argument.